Good morning from the Yarn Closet in St. David, Arizona. I'm Laura. I'm Yarn Closet AZ on Instagram. You can reach me at theyarncloset@yahoo.com or go over to the Yarn Closet on Patreon. You can follow us for free, and if you become a patron, then you see free content. I have a lot of patterns that I post over there for free, and I think some fun content, but it's totally up to you. I do love my patrons and chat and send things back and forth. And I mean, we definitely have some community going on over there. So if you want to become a part of it, that's your way in. I decided to do a quick post today because number one, I finished some little socks for my daughter Prue. She's been on me about pink socks, and so then I tried this style and that style, and no, we didn't like it, that didn't fit. So I finally just made socks. What are you scratching for, Chip?
Hakuna Matata.
What are you doing, Chip? You want to go outside?
I forgot you were stinking podcasting.
Yes, I am stinking podcasting. I think you need to let Chip out. Can you let Chip out?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Jeez, Chip. You're killing me, dude.
Well, darn it, where did that go? I had something, I thought it was right back in there, but I don't know. So I have a few things to show today. We're gonna have some fun content, maybe a little chatter. I've got some bags from Laura Mates Designs. Chip, go outside. He's coming. You gotta be a little more interactive. Chip, go outside. Come here. Just pick him up.
Oh, no. I don't want to go outside.
So anyway,
That thing.
you know, my mom is going all the way blind. I'm legally blind. One of the hard things for us is bags. I love the new big bag from Fat Squirrel Fibers because there's so many pockets because it's a light interior. But I've always kind of thought that this would be nice because this is like a physician's bag. It has a frame in it to hold it open. Plus there's two little bags inside. And there it is, the bottom is actually, there's padding in this bag in between the layers. So it's very nice. I have not used it like out in real life because there's not much of that happening these days. But, I mean, I like it. It's foxes. I like foxes. I've always liked foxes. And this is a fox. It's the fox mask in the Asian thing. And I know my mom's just a little bit like more nightlife because they go out a lot. So got her this black one with some black and yellow with a light. And I requested a light interior. So she actually made these. So this should be really nice. And just the fact that you can open it up and it stays very open, I think will be nice for my mom. Plus the way that it folds down, like I don't think you're losing a lot of whatever. Like if I wanted to actually leave mine open and have a project in it, even though I haven't zipped it, it will still fold down unless it was like totally full. And then I think I could still carry it around open. Does that make sense? But I really want to show that. That's Laura Mates, M-A-T-E-S, Designs on Etsy. So I can't wait till my mom comes down and can get her bag. Laura also does the clear plastic bags. I love those for project bags so I can actually see and I don't forget. Oh, I already have a pair of mittens started in that bag, etc. And I finally got my Russian built Speedweve. It's hard to find a good Speedweve. Now they made it seem like this had the Speedweve bar that you pushed across. This is just not what this is. You have to individually move the tabs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Speedweve, Speedweve. Look up videos on YouTube. What it is a wooden disc you put inside your sock or your whatever item. And then it allows you, there are hooks here, and supposed to be on the other designs. This one just doesn't seem to really, the hooks are so stinking tiny. Even though this is large, and it made it seem in the advertisement like it was designed for larger yarns, etc. These hooks are so tiny. The warp and weft isn't really moving much. So I've had to kind of just weave in. So first what you do is you put in some threads going up and down. So that's your warp. And then you're going to be weaving back and forth through them, and having those hooks turn helps you kind of turn the pieces, which should make it much easier to sew in and to like weave in, but it didn't really work that well for me on this one. I bought this one because it was larger than the average. The average is much smaller. This is a 21 stitch, but also very large, because I tend to blow out in big holes. So I wanted something larger. I thought that would be really worth it. I think I should have just waited and bought the actual Speedweve in the antique form, which you can find on eBay. The problem is it took almost 4 months to get this, and these are just rubber bands. That's not what was advertised. Like, I just don't know that it was worth it. I think that I should have just gotten the old-fashioned one, where these kind of work in conjunction, because that's the other thing. They don't, see how this is doing this? They don't seem to all fold over. So that's like the whole point of it, is that it's supposed to kind of open up the warp, so you just stick your needle through and you don't really have to weave. And it doesn't seem to really function in that fashion. So I'm not thrilled with it in that regard. However, it's what I purchased, it's what I have, and it is working. So I can weave in a few more rows here, and it was marketed that it should have been, like, I think bigger than what it turned out to be, because it was marketed as if you could use not just the fingering weight yarns and stuff. And I'm using like a worsted, and it's really not working that well. And that is also part of why I don't think it's functioning really good. But see, that's why I spent the extra money, the significant extra money on it. And size-wise, I just don't know that the size was really worth it, or it's certainly not worsted weight. I sent my mom a picture of the bags, and she's like, "Oh, do you love them?" It's like, well, I haven't actually used it yet, but yes, I do. And then, part of why this isn't really working for the worsted weight is because the hooks are so tiny, like you can't get worsted weight to really hook well there. So now here's the thing. And this little rubber band thing is not great. And they sent about 12 of them so that you could use 3 at a time. Well, honey, I'd rather just use a ponytail holder. except the groove. I don't know that the groove would fit that. Okay, so here's my metal piece. Here's my wooden piece. Okay, so this is like your darning egg piece that goes inside. See how you have a slot there? When you put your fabric over it, this rubber band goes over the fabric and helps it stay on that slot. And then it goes around the metal part. So now I'm trying, I think my mom's washer and dryer was delayed. So then I take off the metal part on the hooks and see how I've got all these loops. Well, all you have to do is sew them down. Some people, if you weave enough, you will like have very little space on the loopy part. So yeah, so I don't know that I did that quite enough. I did catch my actual sock a few times when I was weaving, so that instead of just on the sides, like on the interior, so it is a little bit firmer of a patch. I like it because you can use it on more than just yarn. I mean, I don't know that this is actually it just doesn't feel as sturdy. I've seen one old-fashioned one like in real life and it was quite sturdy. This one just doesn't feel quite that sturdy. But I believe I could do it on some of my daughter's like leggings that she's constantly blowing holes into. You know, some of her sweatpants, some of her thinner denims. So yeah, so I haven't had a lot of activity with this yet. Overall, I was very surprised when I got it. It really wasn't what I was expecting. It's also sanded, but absolutely plain. And in the advertisement, they were all polished. So I don't know really that makes a huge difference. I have different oils and things, like a food grade oil, so that's not going to stain anything yarn related. That I could oil it with, and you know, it is sanded very well, so I think it would be quite some time before there would be anything that I would worry about catching. But you know, here you go. So I have this little patchwork on top of my sock. And honestly, I think this is the most sturdy patch because I've tried to do this kind of patching without this functioning unit. And I've never gotten quite the sturdy patch. I don't know how else to make sense of that. Oh, here's the thing. Don't just put the rubber band around it. You can break it. Let's see. What do I got in here? I have some thinner big binders. I have little binders in my pocket right now. All right. So, yeah, this is not very good. I would much prefer, in the old style, this bar here is actually up here, and the bar is designed where you push the bar from one side to the other and it moves all the hooks. And these hooks are much smaller than the other Speedweve that I've seen in real life, the antique one. I mean, there's really no way this can be advertised to be anything but fingering weight. These are just so stinking tiny. I'm hoping like a regular hair binder, a smaller one, would work, because the trick is you actually have to get the binder behind. Okay, so this is a thicker hair binder, and it's fitting and it's holding. So that's, you know, that's how these things work. I definitely like that I have it. It didn't live up to its advertising. So I wish I would have spent half the money on the antique version, even though it was slightly smaller. I guess that's my main complaint, is that it's actually not. I could have done DK, I believe, on the antique one much more successfully than I've done this. But I do believe that this is a very solid patch. And I think I could have gotten this same patch from an antique one in 2 sections. Because the older ones have, what do they have? Different versions, I think, have somewhere like 16 to 19. This one only has 21, but the way it was advertised made me think it was kind of larger. So now I just have to weave in these ends. Because of the way that I did it, I only have 4 ends to weave in. And I do think it will help me, because these, if we recall, are my... Are these double thick? I thought these were double thick. Are these not double thick? Yeah, these are double thick. So 2 strands of fingering weight with nylon socks. I haven't worn them that many times, and blew out already on this one. You know, I just go through these things so fast. It's got to be the fact that the dust here isn't just dust, it's grit. It's sand, it's grit. So it's just like sandpaper on your socks. Which is another reason why I got the sock tube maker from Dean and Bean. If you look up Dean and Bean and you can't find them right now, look them up on Instagram. Some competitor of theirs made a complaint, a legal complaint against them. So they had to take down their website, and they're dealing with it legally with their lawyers. You can still order a machine. You just have to contact Dean and Bean directly. Instead of the metal version of the machine, if you get a metal version machine and you have 1 cylinder, back when I was looking into them, the brand new versions, we're looking at like $1,200. And I think they're higher now, because that was like 3 years ago. Dean and Bean, it's this printed version. And oh, I just realized that where I was going to put it was right in front of the window, and maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should switch. $480, 1 cylinder. So I can crank tubes, and then I can make those double folded slipper socks, because those tend to have a better lifespan here. And I got some fingering weight sock yarn from Maritime Family Fibers. So it's a little bit woollier, toothier, but it's also got the nylon in it. So I'm hoping that works on the machine. I'm hoping, because it would be really nice. Because my hand knit and hand crocheted slipper socks from Maritime Family Fibers with their sock yarn have absolutely stood up against all of the grit of our sand and stuff. See, our neighbor right across the street from us doesn't have any grass, so their whole lot is sand. So we have a lot of sand dust in the house. Can't get away from it. It's obnoxious, but you know, there's always a way to work around something. And what do you think of the hair? It turns out my husband doesn't actually like it when I wear it straight. So I have some natural wave and curl to my hair. So I tried to just dry it a little bit and then put it back, which I don't like because I think it makes me look like Count Dracula from Sesame Street. This is not the hairline I once had, people. 50's a thing. It is a thing. So that's all I got. Look with your heart first. It seems like I may be able to keep up with the weekly podcast throughout the summer, which I love to do because I am so grateful to spend this time with you. And I am so grateful for my friends who comment and interact. We're hardcore 5 and I love ya. But feel free, send me out to some of your friends. See if they're fun-loving people. Have an interest in eggs, have an interest in our little pecan homestead, dogs, cats. Oh my God. So the feral cats that we inherited with our little acre, we ended up with 3 little kittens in our Quonset hut shed thing. And now 2 to 3 of them are coming back during my feeding times outside. And it's nice to have the little kitties around outside. But let me tell you, these babies are feral. This little one is like spits and hisses and spits and hisses. And he's adorable. And I'm trying to convince my husband that we should actually catch him and keep him inside for a little bit and try to make him more friendly. Because we have one very friendly outdoor cat. And it's nice to have a friendly one. I mean, you feed them, you love them, you flea and tick them, you deworm them. Because I do all the things. I want them to be healthy and happy. They have houses. And I love that he will occasionally come inside of our little shed and just like, I want to just hang out in here, people. And then I can pick him up and snuggle and he purrs. I mean, I just love that. And that little black one is so stinking cute. But the idea of him growing up, because it's got to be a him, and being that aggressive, like he could totally kill our mouser population. And I don't want that. So I think, cross my fingers, cross your fingers, say a prayer, do whatever it is you do, that we might try to get him inside and feed him inside for a little while and have him for a few weeks in the shed and try to get him accustomed to the people and knowing that the people are good and you don't have to spit at us and hiss at us. Because that would make me happy. So yeah, look with your heart first.